Hey everyone, Jeremy here, aka Mr. W. Just going to shoot a short video here, show you what it takes to change the buffer chip and replace it with the Sound Crackle Fix PCB. We're going to replace this chip right here, U40, and we're going to replace it with one of these right here. This is the Fix PCB. It's going to go right where this chip is, right there. Alright. I got my station here, I got my soldering station, I've got my hot air gun. You need hot air to remove this chip and to put the new PCB down. So I'm going to position this where you can kind of see me doing the work. And as I've said, I'm removing this chip right here. Let's get some light. Use a lot of hot air to remove this chip. Position it so it's easy for me to do. Alright. Take a minute or so for it to get hot enough where I can remove the chip easily without breaking any pads. Not there yet. Alright, so I remove the chip right here. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean these pads up just a little bit. You might want to let it cool down a bit first. If you know what you're doing, you don't really have to. You use a lot of heat to move that chip, so the heat alone can cause the traces to pull up. So I just add some flux, and I'm just going to lay out all the solder that's left over. I'm actually going to add a little bit more to it, and I'm going to add some to the fixed PCB too. Alright, so I added some solder to my tip. I'm adding a little bit more. Right. So I'm also going to do the same thing with the fixed PCB here. See that or not, kind of hard. I don't know if it'll focus in on that or whatever. Doesn't look like it will. But I'm just going to add some flux and some solder. Solder on the tip of the iron. I'm just going to add it to these pads. There's already some solder on them, but a little more helps it stick when you put it down. Alright, so this is ready to go. Let's bring this bad boy back in here. What I'm going to do is I'm applying it at this angle because to me it's easier to work with. if I can grab this fixed PCB from the side, and I'm going to line up. You see the little lines on this? I'm going to line that up with the traces of where the buffer was. And to get it started, after I got it lined up, to get it started, I'm just going to go ahead and use a little bit of heat to try to get just a few of the pads stuck. And actually probably what I need to do, show you here, is add more flux to these pads. It kind of helps the little PCB stick more. Plus you really need it for the solder to melt and stick. This flux really does make it easier to keep it in position once you lay it down, so it kind of sticks. Alright, so I got it lined up and it's sticking. I'm just going to use something that's not going to burn me. I'm using this screwdriver flathead to hold this pressure down on the chip or little PCB. Put a little bit of pressure down on it, because you will burn the shit out of your finger if it gets too close. Come back on the other side, do the same thing with downward pressure. It's feeling pretty solid right now. Let it cool down for a minute before I go test it. See, it's there. I'll go test it in a minute. Okay, so I have this Multikit PCB installed on my board here. I'm going to test it. If you've done it right, then you should have no sound issues and no graphical issues.
Sit, Kishi, sit. Good dog.